Mrs. Daub's art studio. Today we're going to be learning a watercolor technique of mixing colors by making a grid. I'm going to be using some very simple watercolor supplies today. A regular 12-inch ruler, a number 2 pencil, watercolor paper, which is just like extra thick paper. You could also use cardstock, a medium round brush, some watercolor paints just from Walmart, and of course some water to rinse our brush and get our paints ready. So what I've done to start is I'm going to be making a grid so that we have nice straight lines as a guide for where we're going to be painting. So started off by making just little tick marks every inch, and I need 9 tick marks for our 9 colors that we're going to be doing. 9 on our y-axis, 9 on our x-axis, and then I'm just going to take my ruler and trace along each row and column to make a grid. Alright, now that we have our grid, I would like you to label each line and column with the color you're going to be painting across it. You can see I've already done the top. So for each column, red, red, orange, orange, yellow, green, blue, turquoise, and violet. So let's do each line across. So we're going to want to do red across, red, orange, orange, yellow, green, blue, turquoise, and violet. Alright, so now for the actual color mixing grid painting, what I would suggest doing is painting each column first. So just making a nice slim, trying to keep your paint as consistently colored as possible all the way down so that when you mix with the colors going across the lines, you'll have a nice consistent way to check and make sure that the color you're going to be blending is going to be consistent. So trying to get a nice consistent color all the way from top to bottom. If you need to add more pigment some places you should. If you need to water down some places, like there it's kind of thick, you can. And then I would let that dry before I painted over it with any other color, which just takes a few minutes. Alright, so I've got all my columns done. I can see I've made a little bitty error mistake over here on my green. Just gonna take a tiny bit of water, rub it over that, and take a tissue and blot it. And there it goes. That's the wonderful thing about watercolors. Alright, all my columns are dry. You can see how pretty the colors look. Now we're gonna paint across the lines, following the same color pattern, you know, red at the top, red, orange, orange, yellow, green, blue, turquoise, and violet. And then where each color intersects with the color across or down from it, we'll see how those colors combine once they're dry. So let's take our red here at the top, and we'll just paint. Oops, oh, it's pretty watery. Let's see, try again. And again, trying to make a nice consistent color across. Trying not to smear the colors like Mrs. Daub is. Here we have our final watercolor grid showing how the colors look when you layer one color on top of another. And the reason this is interesting is it just shows that you could get a different color mix or tone depending on the order in which you layer them. For instance, like when you put orange over green, you get that. And green over orange looks like that. They're ever so slightly different. It's a little bit lighter when you put the green over the orange. Orange over green looks much darker. So anyway, it's just an interesting color technique so that you can see how the colors might mix if you are doing a watercolor project and don't want to do trial and error.